Hey guys, welcome to the official first episode of Sharns in the Shed, or Fishing Sharns with Leith. My name's Leith. I'm a very passionate fisherman, most passionate usually about stick baiting generally for kingfish, and then just all kinds of lure fishing. I live in the far north New Zealand, so I'm pretty blessed to be living here and definitely got some of the best fishing in the country on my doorstep. I like to try and take advantage of that as much as I possibly can. Today the weather's not the greatest, so I thought I'd just come out into the shed and do some filming and try and teach you guys some of the tips and tricks that I've learnt from other good fishermen along the way, and then also learnt just through time and testing my own techniques and developing my own sort of general knowledge of how to do it really well. So I hope you enjoy the video. Leave a comment if you have any ideas of what you want to see next, and yeah, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram as well. It all sort of helps me to stay keen to put this stuff out there, I guess, to you guys. I hope it is something that helps you guys if you're watching, and I hope that I can try and help you guys to better your own craft and possibly get onto some really good fish through lure fishing, topwater fishing, or just fishing in general, or just, you know, better your own craft, or you might be able to teach me something awesome. So what I'm going to start off with anyway is just some trace sizes that I use for fishing. So my trace size for soft baiting in the shallows, what I normally use, I usually fish in super shallow water that's ranging probably anywhere from 12 meters up to half a meter, and sometimes shallower, I guess, but generally, yeah, between 12 meters and half a meter. I don't really like fishing real deep water when I'm soft baiting. I get a little bit bored of it unless it's a real hot bite on a reef or something like that. Then it's heaps of fun. I'll show you guys some of the general lures that I usually use when I'm stick baiting also. So I've got a little bit of a lineup here. I've definitely got a lot more than what's on this little hanger here, but let's not show off about it, and I'll just show you these basic ones that I would generally take out. That one there. So the majority of my lures are on top lures. I'm a huge fan of OTLs. That one there, that's a swim pop. Really cool colorway. So I find that this sort of a colorway is going to match a heck of a lot of stuff that is going to be swimming around our neck of the woods up here. And I've got the same exact profile lure, but in a mullet color. This is a real real winner up here in Northland. It's the mullet colour. There's a lot of mullet around our harbour entrances and swimming the coast at the right time of year. Another lure that has been doing really well lately is GPC. This is my only GPC. It's the first one I ever tried, and I am quite happy that I tried it. It is a winner. I'll show you this one. This one's quite a special one to me. This one here is an On Top Lures pencil popper. This one has seen some war, I guess. It has seen a lot of fish, caught a lot of fish, and this is the first one I've ever owned, and I've still got it. This one generally just stays at home now, and it kind of deserves to be retired. So I've got newer ones than this. I got the exact same colorway in a new one from Mike not so long ago, and I took it on a trip fishing with Mike. We went out to some islands out off Mike's home base, and I think it was probably second cast once we rocked up to the spot, and a real big kingy liked the look of my new one of these. First time I'd ever used it, literally first time I'd ever touched the water. Second cast, boom, got hit, pulled a whole lot of line. We were right next to some rocks. I grabbed the spool and 100-pound braid, and I'm pretty sure that I had a tiny little wind knot, but it was quite far up the braid, so it was a real weird situation. I had no idea that it was there. I grabbed the spool to try and stop the fish, and bang, see you later. Lost that big dog of a fish, and a brand new lure. But I think losing the fish was probably more upsetting than losing the lure, to be honest. Some of you guys can probably relate to that. So those are just some basic lures that I would generally have on me when I'm out on the boat throwing sticks for the day. I have a huge range of different stick baits that I'll take, and I'm the kind of person that will change lures so many times a day. If the fish are being sort of difficult, you know they're there, and you're catching a couple but they're still kind of playing hardball, I'll just keep switching it up, because that way I'm sort of presenting them a new bait. It's not something that they're seeing go over their heads 3 times in a row. I'm trying to make that little difference and present them something new, so that they might possibly get that little spark and just go for that new lure. Anyway, what we'll get into next is I'll show you guys my leader sizes for generally what I'd use for stick baiting, and this is generally my heavier stick baiting setups that I'm going to use this leader for. So when I'm fishing in areas that I know hold really big fish, and are also quite shallow reefy areas, I'm going to use quite a heavy line. And up here in Northland, a lot of the areas that we fish, that's generally what it's like. So my favorite go-to leader for that is the old Varavass Ocean Record 220 pound. I've still lost fish on this. I actually lost a brand new OTL swim pop not long ago using this leader, and I couldn't believe how fast a fish dealt to me and just put me to ground and tore this leader to shreds. So even with this real heavy stuff, you're still going to lose sometimes. Next, I will quite often use the 150 as well if the water's super clear and it's a really nice day, like a glamour sort of a day where it's just super calm and the fish might be able to sort of check out my lure and see my leader a bit easier. I'll switch over to 150 just to try and produce a few more nibs. Other than that, the leader that I'd use for a light stick baiting setup, so when I'd be throwing sort of the smaller sort of lures on a lighter rod and a lighter reel, so this is a 50 gram, that's generally what I'm going to throw with my light set. What I'll use for those ones for leader is usually 80 to 100 pound trace. I don't actually have any on me. I need to buy some more, so I might have to order some more Varivass actually. When it comes to soft baiting up in the super shallow stuff, I run pretty heavy leader, I guess. I just like to have that abrasion resistance and the least possible room for error or break-offs with big snapper putting you in the bush. So that's my leader that I use for soft baiting. I have got a lighter leader that I use if I'm purely soft baiting over the sand under workups and stuff like that. If I'm just out there just to nab a bunch of fish for a feed, I'll quite often just chuck on, I think it's 25 pound, and it's real thin. But yeah, generally that's my go-to, and it's amazing trace. A huge benefit that you'll get using Varivass for leader is how good your knots, your leader to braid knot, or your leader to braid knot is going to cinch it. The Varivass is quite a supple line, but it's still got a heck of a lot of strength. So when you cinch down your braid onto your leader, it sinks in really well, and you get a really good binding between your main line and your leader. I love it for that, and also just the strength. And it's really important if you're stick baiting a lot to use a leader that has a lot of suppleness and a lot of give, and that doesn't have much memory, if you know what I mean. So if you get a leader and you leave it overnight, and you've already tied your leader and you put it through your top eye, and then it runs back down, and you've got your lure hooked onto your bottom guide or something like that, and you leave that overnight, and then the next day you notice when you pull your line out, it's got a big kink where your line went through your top guide and then come straight back down. So that's what I call memory. Varivass will do that, but I can literally pull it out and I'll just go like this on my line twice, and it's pretty much gone. And then I could do 3 casts and that kink's completely gone. But then I've used leaders in the past, usually when they've got a lot of fluorocarbon content in the leader, they'll hold that memory, and also they're a way stiffer line, so they're going to be affecting the way your lure swims, and that to me is just a no-no. Basically, I try and avoid that. If you can get your lure to swim as naturally as possible, I feel it's going to perform the best, and you're going to get more strikes. Okay, I guess now I'll take you guys through a few leader knots. So my technique of tying this knot, I've seen one other person do it this way. I sort of toyed around with a few different ways to do it, and then I came up with this. So I actually I take a tag end, probably about, pull the line like that, so that's tied over here with my thumb and my forefinger, and then start wrapping from the opposite end, not the tag end, so your main line end, and I'll probably put like 3 or 4 wraps on my finger, and then I keep tension on that. So usually I'll tie my knot when the line's still on the reel and then threaded through the guides of the rod, and then I'll set my rod up somewhere, usually in a rod holder or something, and then I'll pull tension on it, close the bail arm, have a fair bit of drag, pull as much tension as I can. My little pinky always starts going real purple. That's how I know I've got good tension on it. From there, what I do is I take this tag end of my trace, and I start with it over the line, and then I wrap it, or start my wraps. So I usually go over the line first, and I go, I don't know why, but I like have kind of favorite numbers, and all of mine are even numbers, so I go with 8. So I start off with 8 this way. So I probably lost count already, but so that's 8. So from there, I've done 8 that way. I unwrap my pinky, I grab the tension line, grab the 2 pieces of main line, wrap that around my hand, wrap that like that, grab it in my mouth, the tag end of the trace, and I cinch that back as tight as I can, pull tight. So I'm cinching back and forth to try and sort of tighten all the line back onto man, why won't you focus? Okay, hopefully this works. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to tighten my weaves or my wraps back onto the I don't know why this won't focus, but it's real hard to get it to focus. What I want to do is tighten all of this back onto here. So once that's the first 8, and then I grab my main line tag end, do the same wraps again, or one less, and then what I'll do from there is I'll start to go back the other way. So you want to look at your line and see which one you last started on, and then you go to the opposite side, if you know what I mean. Kind of hard to understand, but so instead of carrying on going over the line, I'm going back behind the main line. So back once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you just repeat that process. Pull my pinky out of there, pull those 2 lines together, wrap it on my hand, grab it with my mouth, pull forward first and then push it back down so it stacks on the knot, pull it, stack it, and then you go one more set of 8 crossovers or 8 loops, I don't know what you want to call them, and you want to go again over the line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now if you've got a different way of tying this knot, like you don't go the full 8, if you only go 5 and then do another 5 and another 5, all good. If that's what works for you, no worries. I know that that's just as strong, I'm pretty sure, but this is just my OCD kicking in, and even numbers, and then I have favourite numbers, so it's just my OCD. Same process, cinch it down, make it all tight and bound on itself. From there I just go one over hitch, so once over the line, so these are just a basic half hitch, once over, cinch that back down, and then one back under. So you've got 2 half hitches cinched down on top of each other over both the braid and the leader. So you have half hitches kind of just lock the knot off to a point so that it can't just unravel itself. From there, what I like to do is I just chuck a glove on and I give it a quick pull. Give it a quick pull and then reset that so I get the tag end of my braid. Give it a tighten back down again, and then I get quite serious with the pulling, and I get my line puller, knot puller, get that out, use it on the braid, wrap my braid around it, get a bit more braid out, so that line spooler squeaks a bit, wrap that around there, and then so I'll try and show you guys. So the braid's wrapped around there, and you never want to cross it over, so you start at one end and wrap the other way, so you're never crossing your braid with your braid, so when you're pulling on it it's not cutting through itself. And then grab it, put that piece of braid between your fingers so you can pull, and grab your other end. You can chuck a glove on for that, pull that as tight as you can, and that should, so once you start seeing your braid kind of go, it's quite hard to show it, but kind of go real clear, or it looks like it's becoming kind of a part of the leader itself kind of thing, it's actually setting itself into the leader, then that's a pretty good cinching. Now from there, the most important part of the knot is the finisher, as I was saying before. So to finish the knot, the way I finish it is I grab both pieces of main line, or the tag end of your leader and then your main line, and you want to lay them next to each other so that there's your braid, there's your leader, and then you grab your tag end of your braid and you throw it over top of two of them, over top of both of them. You pull it back a little bit so that it's sitting close to those half hitches, and then you bring it up as a loop, so you end up with a loop like that. And then it's almost like a backwards uni knot at the top of your PR knot. Is it a PR knot? No, it's not a PR knot, it's a FG knot. And then I want to go back through that loop, back down towards the end of my leader, opposite way to the tag end of my leader. I loop through the over top of both my leader and my main line, my braid. I loop through that 5 times. So that's once, twice, 3, 4, 5, and then you want to wet the knot, bit of spit on there, and now you start pulling the tag end of your braid back down towards your knot, or your main FG knot, but at the same time you want to control the loop end so that it doesn't just all go at once and just bunch up, and then it just ends up tightening up too quickly and you end up with a gap between your finishing knot and your actual FG, and then it's never really properly complete. So if I can see this a little bit better. So that's it there. So I pull that little tag end as I'm pulling it down. It's a bit hard to film and do at the same time. I've never tried to do this. Film myself tying a knot. So as it's coming down, I'm just pulling it back a little bit just to make sure there's no looseness in it. There's no like little bits of loop, no loose ends kind of thing. And then it cinches down so that it's kind of like that, so that it's kind of 2 knots opposing each other. So the knot that I've just tied is trying to go that way, and the other knot's trying to go that way. So pull that nice and tight, and then again, that thing makes a horrible noise. Again with my line puller, I wrap the braid again around my knot puller, line puller, and give it another real good tension. And then again, pull the tag end against the braid, make sure that that top knot is really nice and tight. And then something that I learned of, I think it was Briggsy does a real good video on this knot, and to perfect my knot I watched his video quite a few times just to get used to tying the knot, and I'd sit there and I'd tie the knot as I watched his video. So his video is pretty well done. I'll probably end up trying to do another video of this because I don't think this one's going to turn out that easily followable kind of thing, because you can't really see that well. I think I need a setup in a place where the lighting's a bit better so that the camera focuses a bit more on the knot. So what I did there, sorry, ran away with my words, the tag end, before I cut the tag end, I tie a granny knot in it, and then I push the granny knot as close as I possibly can to the knot, and then pull it tight, and then cut the tag end a few mil away from that granny knot. And the theory behind that is that granny knot stays in it, because when you burn the tag end of braid, it always ends up fraying again, but the granny knot will stay there for a lot longer, kind of thing, without just fraying. So it's less likely to slip back through its own knot if it's got a knot on it, on the end of it, if you know what I mean. And then grab these, or whatever pliers I've got, chop the tag end of that leader off pretty close, so it's pretty close to the knot itself, and then grab me little HPA lighter. Awesome when you're tying knots on the boat in the wind. They don't just get blown out real easy. Wet the knot and burn it down a bit. And there you go. That is still not focusing very well. Yeah, basically it ends up looking pretty bloody good. I'll see if I can get it to focus. Right, so the loop knot, how I connect to my jig heads. Get your trace, put a granny knot on it, just go through once. Got your granny knot there, granny knot, tag end, put your tag end through the eye of your hook, put it through there, and then take your tag end and then put it through your granny knot. Pull your little granny knot kind of close to your eye of your hook, pinch your two lines together inside your knot, or at the back of your knot, pinch that, grab your tag end and your main line sort of thing, and then wrap your tag end around that 5 times. Give it all a nice wet, and then take your tag end and push it back through the open loop of your granny knot, straight back through there. Grab it with your teeth, pull it all back down on itself, pull it nice and tight, wipe the yucky goobies away, and then you end up with a loop knot. So theory behind a loop knot, trim that tag end off. Theory behind a loop knot, I believe, is so that you get maximum action out of your jig head. So if you tie directly to this and you've got a big butty knot and your trace is directly tied to that, it can affect the action of your jig head. I think jig heads, when they swim like that. So if you've got a loop, it's quite free, like your jig head can move. So if I jiggle it like I'm pulling it underwater, it's kind of got more play. They hold really well as well. I haven't lost any fish that I know of with these knots either. I know mates that have. Sad one for you if you reckon it was the knot. Maybe tie your knots better. I've caught some real big fish with these, so I can be cheeky-ish. So that's that knot. So I hope some of what I've just talked about helps you guys out, and if there's anything that you saw in this video that you use and it pays off for you, let me know. That'd be cool. If you catch a big fish, send me a photo on Instagram. That'd be cool. I'll be stoked to know that you guys are putting it to use. And then also, if you guys have tips that you think might be useful for me as well. I mean, I'm still learning. We're all still learning, really, when it comes to fishing. You never stop. Flick me a message. That'd be cool. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. In the next video I might talk a little bit more about my techniques when I'm working lures and when I'm, say, working a stick bait, and also I might get a little bit into how I rig up live baits and how I tend to fish live baits. I think I fish live baits maybe slightly different to what I guess I see on YouTube or on fishing shows with other guys fishing live baits. Not to say that I don't do the same techniques sometimes, I just kind of have my own little techniques and preferences that I use. So yeah, next time I think I'll get into those two things, and then if you guys have any ideas of what you'd like to see from me, then let me know in the comments and I'll try and put that in the video as well. If not, then I will make other videos down the track that I'll try and cover off any questions you guys have if I know the answer. If I don't know the answer, I may talk to some of my mates that do a lot of that type of fishing and try and come up with the answer. Hopefully do some collaborations with some other real good fish shows around the area, and I'll definitely be putting out hopefully some more actual fishing content as well. So yeah, chuck it out there if you guys think that this is going to help your mates, and yeah, just subscribe and like and do all that stuff, I guess. Cheers. You.